next week, I'll say, I'm BC, and I'll be seeing you in 2 weeks. You've been listening to Rockline, brought to you in part by Budweiser, the king of beers.
He's whistled, signaling time for lunch and the beginning of WNEW-FM Workforce Blocks. And now, here is provider of Workforce Blocks, a true friend of the common laborer. Please give a loyal party welcome to Comrade Dave Herman. You're dead.
Well, thank you very much. And remember, the Workforce Block Hour is brought to you by People Express Airlines, the smart way to fly. Later on this hour, in about a half hour or so, Todd Rundgren and Utopia will be along here at WNEW-FM. Well, all right. Don't forget, we got Utopia in here live with us for a Workforce Block in just a few minutes. Utopia will be at the Millertime Concerts on the Pier tonight. And while we're talking about that, let me remind you that WNEW-FM and Millertime Concerts on the Pier have added some shows for September. On September 5th, Cyndi Lauper will be at the Pier. On September 7th and 8th, a wonderful show featuring King Sunny Ade and Black Uhuru. Then on September 12th, the Jefferson Starship will be at the Pier. And on September 14th, it'll be the Alarm. Tickets for all of those shows are on sale now at Ticketron for just $10. Plus, your ticket stub, gets you into the Ritz with a $2 discount right after the Pier show. That's Millertime Concerts on the Pier from 1027 WNEW-FM. This, of course, is where rock lives, where we'll have Utopia with us live in just a few minutes. But first, let's get to this. We're WNEW-FM. I'm Dave Herman, and we have the whole band's here. Utopia is all here. Yeah. Willie Wilcox, Todd Rundgren, Roger Powell, Kasim, Sulton. I can't even remember a time we've had so many musicians in the studio at one time. Anyway, it's nice to have you all here.
Thank you.
Rex. Nice to be here.
Rex is here. Yeah. We're some real Afro-Americans.
Afro-Americans. Is that afflicted?
No, afflicted.
I was going to say things must be going well if the affluency.
We've just been keeping up with the editorial page, that's all. Don't mind us.
Well, of course, Utopia is going to be at the Pier tonight for a concert at the Millertime Concerts.
Yeah, it's a beautiful night to go to the Pier. Lovely weather for the Pier.
We're going to be appearing there tonight.
At the Pier.
Appearing there.
So
nice.
Take a peer at us.
One of the things that occurred to me in thinking about you guys coming up here. Hello?
Hello. That's Rex introducing himself. Yeah.
That's the new...
He's uncomfortable in this chair here. I think.
We've got a new vocalist with the band. Todd, who's that? Who is that?
It's our road manager.
This is Rex, my dad. Everybody's in the hall.
Rex Rundgren?
Yeah.
Hi, Rex. One of the things I wanted to ask you about, you've all been recording for so long. There is such a wealth of material that when you go out on the road to do a show, is it tough to boil it down into a set? I mean, if there's so many tunes in the repertoire.
Yeah, it does get pretty tough. Well, I think what winds up happening is the older stuff. As we go along, the older stuff kind of get phased out, and there's more newer stuff and sort of not that old. So, somebody help me, please.
There's a lot of stuff.
When we get tired of the new stuff, we go back and do the old stuff because the old stuff sounds new again.
I can remember when I joined the band, which was 10 years ago.
That's Roger talking now.
That 10 years ago, the show we did 3 hours. So 10 years ago, there was 3 hours worth of material.
Exactly.
Now there's, X amount of albums later, which has got to be between Todd's solo albums and the band, it's got to be 12 albums. So it's tough to make up, a 2-hour show.
Exactly. Todd, I want to ask you this. I mean, how democratic is the band? Whether it's the choice of tunes to do on stage or what to record in the studio. I mean, someone's got to be in control of it.
Anybody can do anything they want as long as I agree with it.
As long as we all play the same song at the same time.
Okay, you going to do Crying tonight on the show? I mean,
Cry Baby?
Cry Baby,
yes.
I mean? Because we're gonna play it right now, so I hope you're going to play it tonight. Could be. Let's hear this one. From Utopia, that's Cry Baby here at WNEW-FM, the Utopia band in full here with us at WNEW-FM. Should point out, actually, that, this hour is an all-request hour all the time. We play blocks of music. It's the Workforce Block Hour. And there were a couple of requests for Utopia Workforce Blocks for this particular day, so we should mention who wrote them.
Play it anyway.
Well, you see, Christine Ogle says pronounced like awful. Christine Ogle says she's going to be at the Pier tonight to see Utopia. could you please play a workforce block? She says a workforce block of Kasim Sultan, actually. Yeah. So if you want to find Christine Ogle
Sorry, no way, Christine.
Is there a photo with that letter?
She
Can I
works.
do a backstage pass for Christine?
She works for Ladies Home Journal here in Manhattan. So
Yeah, she's a big Utopia fan. I think I know who that is.
Do you really?
She takes lots of pictures of the band, and it's been around for a real long time.
And the other request from Steve DePalma of West Milford, New Jersey. He says he'll be at the Pier tonight also. And he says Utopia concerts have a special significance for him. I am always sure that I will see two good friends of mine at any Todd or Utopia concert. I really don't get the chance to see these people except at these concerts. That's great. And I look forward to seeing them. He doesn't say anything about looking forward to seeing you. So that's...
Make sure they're there tonight.
That's Steve DePalma. On a serious note, this one... I wanted to ask you, Todd, because video has become, such an extraordinary part of the whole music business, and you've been... Am I asking the wrong question? Everybody's making...
Maybe. We'll see what happens.
Keep going. We'll find out what the answer is.
Well, I just asked the questions. You do the answers. That's how it works, No, I was curious. You've been in the you've been making videos and working in video for... long before there was an MTV or anybody's done a video. It's been something you've been doing for a long time. So I just wanted to know how you feel about what's going on in the world of video.
We like doing
I wish we were on television because they're making the weirdest faces at me. I keep looking down, my fly's closed, everything. My shirt's clean.
Go for it. Go for it.
You must have some feelings about it. Todd, would you like to
Yes.
move into the microphone and
Yes.
rave on.
Yes, I do have feelings about it.
And they are.
Oh.
No four-letter words, please.
I
Yeah,
try
we
not
feel
to,
the same way.
I try not to think about it.
No, really, I really would like. Why? You have an opportunity to maybe,
To
say
maybe get
something.
myself in a lot of trouble.
With who? Who
would?
Or let me ask it another way. Did you see Joe Jackson's remarks in the current Rolling Stone, which he said, basically he made 3 points, and the reason why he's not making a rock video, he said that...
Oh, well, I think that has been circulated through a number of journals, that whole...
Okay, well...
Kind of like, well, I don't want to make it... It's not as if I'm making a press stand about it, stand for the press, I have certain personal convictions, which...
We don't...
If you could make
I don't think
Todd,
he feels, or that we feel, that it's lived up to, its potential, and in a way it's just become a very commercial... The records had just become commercials, and the videos are just commercials.
For the records,
yeah,
for the most
and
part.
vice versa.
It's like commercials for the... It's like something that's a commercial for itself, Like a lot of music, and especially videos, are just commercials for themselves. So if you're into that, it's just... There's too much pressure to think in those terms, and it's hard enough to come up with original sounding music without having these, further compromises imposed on you and stuff like that. So I'm not even comfortable thinking about video anymore. I'm not comfortable seeing...
In a commercial sense.
In most senses. I'm not... we might work really hard on a piece of video and stuff, and for us, we don't have a lot of money, so it's a scrape a lot of the times. We work really hard on it, and then it winds up, you see yourself in the same half hour as, somebody spanking female behinds and stuff like that. It just doesn't seem to... It's not fun.
Would demeaning be a word for...
Demeaning is one of the words. There are other words which we're not going to say, at this point. So.
However, there are exceptions to that, don't you think? There are some videos...
But there aren't enough exceptions to justify the rest of it. There's...
And the pressure is to go the other way.
Well, the problem is the programming, the way they're programming the videos now, it's turning into like an AM format, the same thing that happened to the radio station, so, it'd be nice, it'd be nice to have an outlet that was, more FM-oriented for, videos as opposed to having to be locked into this playlist kind of thing that they have for the videos.
One of the things that Joe Jackson said is he thought it was really terribly unfair to a lot of new bands. Like, they're not actors and they're not video makers, but they might be like a great band and a real fine, have a real good tune and a real good record and something that would work as a record, but that they have to also come up with something that they just don't do. Be like, like asking an actor that you can't play that role in a play unless you can also paint a picture. And he said, well, I'm not a painter, an actor.
Well, they'll always find a way to do it. They'll just get somebody else to do the video, prop the band up, film them playing a little bit, and they'll have all concepts, garbage flying around and stuff like that. But there isn't, from my standpoint, it isn't, it's the wrong kind of music for, to spend that much time and effort trying to visualize it. Was never meant for that.
It's also difficult, I think, in a short format of like 3 minutes and, 25 seconds to really, show anything visually that's going to, be exciting. I like to see the, longer videos.
Sometimes shorter ones.
That was Willie Wilcox and Todd Rundgren and Roger Powell, Kasim, Sulton. All of Utopia are visiting with us here at WNEW FM. Do you have favorite? The body of work that you people have made is really overwhelming. So I keep coming back to that, like whether you have particular albums that you're just very happy with over the years that you can listen to again and again. Like I have favorites. The reason I ask it is because I've queued up a track from Adventures in Utopia, which I'm probably not alone in just being able to listen to this record over and over again, and it never burns out for me.
Well, it's strange that one of our fan appendages, one of our fanzines or something like that, did a survey of what people's favorite albums were, and it wasn't the ones that you expect. The number one favorite was not Adventures in Utopia.
It was actually Ra.
It was Ra. It was the very first one, and then the next one was Oops, Wrong Planet, which followed Ra in terms of pitiful record sales. So the ones that they like the most sometimes are the ones that the general public is least familiar with.
Adventures in Utopia probably is maybe the best-selling one.
That was almost,
That was it. Yeah.
Okay, well let's play Caravan from that. Utopia here at WNEW FM with Caravan, Willie Wilcox, Todd Rundgren, Roger Powell, Kasim, Sulton, all visiting with us. Utopia is here, and we'll be carrying on this madness right after this. Utopia, all here with us live. Don't forget, Utopia at the Miller Time Concerts on the Pier tonight. This is probably going to be the most beautiful evening of the whole summer.
Greatest. It's going to be great.
Wonderful. We're going to take the Pier out for a spin on the Hudson.
We could. It'd be nice if the whole pier was removable, and we could just go. You could play while everybody was sailing up towards Bear Mountain.
Yeah.
It is, by the way, all of you Utopia fans' last chance to see the guys this summer, unless, of course, you run into them on the street or something. But it's certainly the last chance to see them play. Yeah. And that'll all be happening tonight.
We don't play in the streets. We're playing together.
Now, before I let you go, I did want to talk to you about one of the albums again. How many albums are there total between Utopia and Todd Rundgren albums?
That's probably about 25 or 30.
It's probably maybe the largest body of work by same group of people, for the most part.
In the world, ever.
No, I think it might be.
In
rock and roll, at any rate.
Well, you have to add to that the fact that Kasim has a solo record out.
Right.
And I have 2 solo albums.
It's just incredible.
So it's a lot of work.
That was, for people who can't see through their radio, that was Roger Powell talking. The album you put out about, I guess it's maybe 3 years now, called Deface the Music. About 3 years. Was it a terrific concept of trying to do a Beatles album that wasn't the Beatles, and it had I had that come about because it's just a remarkable record in the sense that it isn't Lennon McCartney tunes. It isn't really anything like the Beatles, but it is like it.
Well,
who's going to take this one, boys?
It was originally started out. Originally, we were just doing one song for a movie. We had one song, which was "I Just Want to Touch You," which we were doing. The boys here were appearing in a movie with Meatloaf called Roadie.
That's a good smash hit.
Yeah, you remember
Runaway hit of the summer movie. Yeah.
Anyway,
the week of July 4th.
Yeah.
8:30, I think it was.
It ran away and nobody could find it anymore.
Nobody wanted to find it. Well, anyway, Alice Cooper was in the movie and had some songs in the movie, and I guess they asked
what's his name to produce it, and
Produce the movie played, or the album? The movie.
Just two songs on the soundtrack for the movie, and the band backed up Alice Cooper, and then they decided, wouldn't it be nice if the band did a song for the album? So we did the song, and they delivered to them, and they thought it was too much like the
too
Beatles.
Close.
Too close.
They were afraid they'd be
sued.
And so we thought,
No.
Yeah, absolutely true.
Well, that was their excuse anyway.
Yeah, that was the story.
So that was our cue to say.
I never heard of, have they plagiarized my sound? You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, that's very silly, isn't it?
Well, we would have loved for Lennon and McCartney to sue us.
Yeah, we thought that was the
I
exciting
would put
part.
the album right over the top. You know, we would have been a hit then.
You're familiar with the
Unfortunately,
with
they
the
didn't
Ruddles
do it.
album,
Yeah,
right?
right.
That Neil Innes did, which was remarkable in its own sense, I thought, as well.
So
that
we
was
thought
that was more of a comedy record, though. This was a little more of a serious parody.
Well, here's a tune from that never to be forgotten movie, Roadie,
Never to be remembered.
and Deface the Music, Utopia's album.
Well, it never made it to the movie.
Never made it.
Not
You
right.
can only find this song on Deface the Music.
Its own kind of collector's item.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Here they are. Utopia. And that's from Deface the Music here at WNEW FM. Don't forget, tonight, Miller Time Concerts on the Pier. Last chance to see Utopia.
Last great night to go to the Pier.
We'll rename it the Last Chance Saloon. Get all the Miller beer they want and Utopia's music, too.
Is it all you want or all you can pay for?
Well, some of them like that. Well, that's still all you want to pay for.
Well,
All you
Want to pay for it.
And before we let you go, when can Utopia fans expect the next album?
Well, we're
Well,
going. We're going in the studio in October.
If not sooner. I think by the first of the year, we should have a record out.
When you go into the studio, is everything like written, ready to go? Or do you
Yes,
do a
it
lot of
will be.
writing in this?
this time.
The other part of that question was, do you do a lot of the writing right there while the clock's running?
Actually, most of it is probably done in the studio.
Which is an expensive way of doing it, I
No,
would
we
imagine.
own the studio.
Oh,
Expensive for some people.
okay. Hey, listen, thanks a lot, all of you. Willie Wilcox, Todd Rundgren.
Thank you.
Roger Powell, Kasim, Sulton,
for having us.
coming up to WNEW anytime. And we were just talking about a Halloween a few years ago where Utopia did a live concert on WNEW. Maybe we'll get that together again when you come out of the studio.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
Valentine's
We'd be
Day.
more
Love
than
to.
happy.
Maybe we'll even do it from the studio.
Yeah, we just set up right here.
Hey, that's not a bad idea. I think maybe a germ of an idea has just been born. Just right here at
Hope it doesn't turn
WNEW.
into a disease of an idea.
Thanks a lot.
1027 WNEW FM brings you concerts on the Pier. Coming up Friday, August 24th, it's Utopia with Todd Rundgren. On the 25th and 26th, it's Frank Zappa.
We could jam in Joe's garage. All we did was bend the string like.
And on September 5th, it's the tiny yet mighty Cyndi Lauper. And September 12th is Jefferson Starship. Tickets for all shows are just $10 and on sale now at Ticketron. Plus your ticket stub gets you into the Ritz immediately following the show with a $2 discount. Miller Time Concerts on the Pier from 1027 WNEW FM, New York.